The reason that we make offers is that it allows us to appear compelling, sophisticated, and clear. If someone is considering doing something new for the first time, going straight to let's design the business case, let's design the pilot, is actually less compelling versus saying, we now want to change. You can say, we have this offer, and then after the offer lands, you can then adjust it. But you actually have to say, we're doing this offer this way because we have a lot of people that are coming at us with this thing, so it's very clear. And so B2B businesses struggle with this concept because they never want to say no to deals. So they will always design a business case to get the deal. That's good. It'll make you some money, but it won't make you a lot of money and a lot of sales over time, because it actually means that everyone thinks that you're a piecemeal, not trying to build towards the end state. So we're going to get into how all that works in a second. But has anyone built an offer before, or is everyone new to it? Cool. If we do the offer right, it's like 80% of the yes. And we build them to avoid pilots. We don't want a pilot. We just want people that want to go long on getting there and building with us. So the way we do this is, everyone seen the 4 stages of transformation? Does everyone know them? Has anyone got any questions to the team about what they are? Nope.
Has everybody seen them?
Yep, cool. So we have, like, at each stage, thank you. You didn't want to keep it Amazon Goo?
Amazon Goo.
And so just to validate, an irresistible offer allows you to avoid pilot mode and idea sharing and turn into a concrete closing process where people commit to a transformation and then they adjust their commercials. It allows them to buy into the behavior and the dream outcome that'll get them to success versus customization and risk, okay, which is how we do most B2B. It drastically increases our position by having an answer to the next stage, versus having an answer is really important, then changing afterwards and adjusting is better than just adjusting. And it shows the customer that there are going to be stages and more offers to come, right? So it actually, if you like selling, it positions them for upsell when they buy the first thing, versus being surprised when they get to a friction point that they now need to buy more. Does that make sense? Everyone hates that. It's like, oh, I'm buying stage 1. Great, my outcome is this. I've got the outcome. You got us there. Wow, we both achieved it. It's way easier to upsell. If you go down a problem and you're saying, here's a pilot, as we went through the pilot, we've discovered these things that you extra need. People are like, oh, why didn't you see this coming? The answer is, we both didn't. But we've actually positioned that way because we've piloted our idea versus getting them to commit to a dream outcome in how they're looking to transform. So there are 4 sort of stages. There is the bottleneck mode, there is the confused motivation mode, there is the sense-making mode, there is the Amazon Goo mode. If you go down, just stop there. Okay, so each of these stages, regardless of how you name it, we actually name them because then it improves your positioning. So if you name the change and what it's like, people go, well, I'm in bottleneck mode. And so by naming it, it actually encourages them to move through it, but it gives you a point of difference. More sophistication. At each stage, though, customers that are in this box are aware, but they're not educated. So they have a problem, they're probably avoidant, but they don't know why they shouldn't be avoidant. For those that are ready to adopt and experiment, they're in this stage, stage number 2. For those looking to ready and to scale and integrate, they're here. And for those that are looking to jump into the final stage, which is transformation and reinvention, it's like we can now push it to its limits because we've changed, are stage 4. So we have bottleneck mode for stage 1, confused motivation for stage 2, sense-making mode for stage 3, and Amazon Good mode for stage 4. Is everyone comfortable with the naming of those stages? Or does anyone disagree with them from a position perspective? Nope. Cool. So in order to get someone that's aware, but not sure if they need a change, we don't try to sell them anything. We actually just say, we have an offer for you. It sounds like you're not ready to adopt or really hit to the next dream outcome of the transformation. And so we just want you to take up our try for free offer. So much more powerful to tell a customer, you're not ready, you need to learn more, try for free, then say, you're not ready right now, or here is a free trial. By actually acknowledging where they're at, it makes them motivated to jump here. A lot of people that will price haggle you on the first call or demand to see all of the secret sauce, you just tell them they're probably not ready to do something bold and make them go here, and then within like 3 weeks, they'll be over here. So this one is our done for you offer. So we say, hey, you've got this dream outcome. Your dream outcome is to get to sense making mode. We're going to do it for you in a set amount of time. All of it. We're going to do it by leading by example. We're going to come in, we're going to do it for you versus just our software. So that's our done for you. Our next one is our done with you. So you're trying to figure out how to scale and integrate. You've got it to work, but you don't know how to scale. So we're going to show you how you can scale the change. That's our done with you offer. And our last offer is it does it on its own. The problem with all software companies is that they take on its own pricing, and that's the only way they sell. Because the majority of SaaS pricing has been built by software developers who are pragmatic functional thinkers, going, I'll just test it out, try for free, and then just buy it if it's functional. But when we're dealing with a non-technology owner or a non-technical like foundation business, so they don't build tech products, they don't operate with software that way. It's not their whole world. So we have to add these other functions to make it more irresistible. And so a lot of businesses, what ends up happening is, I'm going to do this all-you-can-eat pricing for X amount of users. And rather than address these two changes, they just do this for free or at a cost. And that will get some traction, but what happens is the customer doesn't commit to the dream outcome. And so when we need them to change to get the most out of our workflow, they don't do it. So then usage and churn happens 18 months later. As soon as your champion leaves, it's gone. It's not integrated. Just any questions on that?
So many.
Yeah. This year.
Yeah, I guess, the try for free model, I kind of thinking about our business and whether we really have a mode that applies to that.
Yeah. Well, remember, if the try for free is like, do you think our unfair advantage in our software can work? That's what most people create, is like test it out and then implement it. But generally in enterprise software that has a transformational outcome, there is a cost of doing that. And there is also a reputational risk or a privacy risk from the data to make it happen. So when we're dealing with, if we think of it from a pure value of software or technology perspective, this doesn't make sense for Mosaic. But if we think of it from the try for free is, we're going to give you the whole framework of Amazon Good so that you don't even need our software to get to Amazon Good, then it's very different.
Give me the roadmap. You can build a way kind of thing.
So like, right.
Tell them how to build a rating engine.
Yeah, exactly. Show them all the tools, show them all the things.
Yeah.
Scare the living daylights out of them. Because they can't do it on their own, right? These are technical companies, but it gives us something to give them. Yeah.
But you just give them all the secrets.
Yeah.
Because all it does for you is like, one, they're going to go, oh, they're just giving us all the secrets. And the platform just makes the secrets happen. But most great software you can just use like it is people doing stuff. And we're now making it all happen maybe in a different thing. But two, it's like, not only are they willing to give us all the secrets, I can see that they've thought this through. So then if someone's like, they've really thought this through, this is taking me too much time to do this, I now understand the investment, well, guess what? I probably need this. I need you to come show me how to do it.
Can I just float something with the team?
Yeah.
Not to get too into the weeds on this. Something I have thought about for the try for free would be, because most of the customers we're going after now are carrier direct. We're not seeing a lot of brokers anymore as we kind of go up more market. It'd be super interesting if we could drop the freight bill tool on them for free, because it also gives us access to data. So it would be like, yeah, because it's probably a problem for them no matter what. So it's like, if we were going to offer something, that could be an interesting tool. I'm not saying that's even doable, but just turn it in.
Like a point solution kind of thing?
Just like, hey, here's the thing, you can rate your bills. Again, I don't know how it all like comes
Yeah.
together technically, but just a very high level thought. If we can't, it's love it too.
And then would the done for you model be, I guess, like how we work traditionally with a distributor today, like a charge, where it's like there's like ops on the back end doing things, and the done with you is like they have the software.
I think it's the opposite first.
It's the opposite?
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because I think that, but I think we could to me, the way I've actually seen this more, so it's like, we could offer the done for you, done with you at stage 2, like based on where they were at. You can like talk to system breaks that you can let us know. Infuse motivation to sense making with freight product.
Then what becomes on sale?
What do you mean?
Like if we expand, and I guess like that is the evolution into Amazon Good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We talk about
Like a managed service play.
like they have a little bit of managed
Yeah,
service
yeah.
and then they have a little bit of the
Right.
other, like
I see that as a bridge.
is there stuff.
Yeah, so I think you can do that.
Like I don't know. Is it like I'm in one or the other, or is there like I'm like 70% into
Right.
like
So like you're probably thinking like, well, if you're over here, right, and you hear like this whole transformation, it's like most people are probably saying, shit, like that's where everyone wants to be, but it's impossible, right? And so for everyone that already understands this, you could probably just take your pricing of freight and they'd be like, yeah, we're going to definitely do this. We're already over here. You're just making us you're just another choice, right? But the idea for each one is it meets the behavior where it is to unlock the next one.
Yeah.
So when we make an offer, if you're here, the dream outcome of bottleneck mode, like getting out of it, is getting to confuse motivation. So then that way, rather than trying to digest,
and go all the way to the end.
you're just selling the behavior at each level. So people that are here are like aware but not aligned. So like we want to go from fulfillment is black box, we can't touch it. Their dream outcome is in 30 days, we'll give you all the framework for free. You can have it all, do whatever you want, ask us any question. And at the end of the 30 days, the black box is open. It is actually a problem that we could solve. That's the dream outcome. And so it's very digestible. And then so for most customers that are here though, it's a done for you. Like they don't want to do this step to this step alone, right? So like they can have a bit of both, but I would actually recommend that if they are asking for a bit of both, we actually haven't got them through the full stage yet. So we haven't added all the services we need in order to make it happen. So it might just indicate that we're missing services, or we might need to do it longer than we thought we did. That's all it might indicate. If they're going from confused motivation mode, and just correct me on the dream outcomes if I'm wrong, Rob, what's the dream outcome for someone trying to get to sense making if they're in confused motivation?
So if they're in confused motivation, they're running the business on Excel spreadsheets, tribal knowledge.
But then I thought of that as like bottleneck. Like
So
Bottleneck think like they can't even solve it.
yeah, so it's almost like they almost don't care to a degree. Like they're like, this is the way it is. Price is the only thing that
Right.
matters. Like they're kind of they're almost like very curious about it. What's that?
Their head in the sand.
Just to give kind of a frame, like mostly every customer we see in the Canadian market is a number 2. Almost like they're either number 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Like so all the customers, I think Charles, the best example of a company that we got to that was at like and there's a bit of a spectrum here. I say they were at like a 2.5 basically, and we were working them towards a number 3. So I think the outcome with the current implementation gets them to a 3. So there'll be a 3 by the end of our engagement with them by the end of this year. And then so the next step to me, in my mind, is getting them into like from that the next level from 3 to 4. And again, I think part of my mind is you kind of ladder them through 3 of it. Like you're not just going 3 to 4 because that unlock is so giant. That leap is very that chasm's
I think that's
large.
true for all of that.
So it's like inside 3 though is what is the next things product wise we need to deliver to get them to Amazon Good. We have nothing for inventory, we have nothing for selling, we have nothing for e-com. So all those things need to be built in service of the 3 to 4 jump. So I think most of what we're doing today is a laddering from 2 to 3. And I think, Tommy, you told me this, like we not just want to like ignore number 1s or just kind of like.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you just want to direct them to get educated because you don't want to waste the resource on them.
Right.
So you just want to be like, here it is, here's all the free stuff, take it all.
Yeah.
tell us when you're ready. And that in itself is really powerful. It's like, whenever you start, and remember with bureaucracies too, people hate when a vendor just goes, actually, you're not ready for this. They don't like it because they always have people selling to them. And so all to say that the dream outcome for those that are in confused motivation is what sense-making looks like. The dream outcome for what sense-making mode looks like is what's happening in Amazon Good. Does that make sense? And then Amazon Good doesn't have one because if we push the customer so far, they're actually going to reform what we do. So it's like, well, what happens after we actually get the whole thing to work? Then another engine pipes up.
So if I could add a bit of color, I think, to what does the dream outcome look for those that are in stage 2, it's like, okay, now everybody we are helping them move from stage 2 to stage 3. So in stage 3, what does the operation look like? Well, all of the standard operating procedures are corralled by our system, and they're using our system, a single system. It's enforcing SLAs for carrier selection. It is producing data that they then use to actually manage carrier performance against the SLAs for their own customers, and on and on. It's more rigor, more system, automation, less dependency on a person clicking buttons and doing things, more reliance on systems, automations, and the data that is created by it.
I think for a very simple framework for our company, especially like around product, to think about this because it is partially like we have to also rig this a bit to match where we are as well. So when we think about this, it's like 2 to 3 is freight excellence, LTL excellence, like top, like all the things we do is just pure freight excellence. 3 to 4 is auxiliary products. So it's inventory, and selling, whatever the other stuff we find around it that's going to allow them to be Amazon Good. Really, really simple, like table stakes. So when we go and we're pitching, our narrative is that to get from confused motivation to sense-making mode, the first thing we need to do is fix your freight because it's the central data unlock. It's the unlocks all the other data around the business, and we need to own this, know this, and be in the flow and the workflow of this. And we're in the flow of funds with that, like we're in that street. That's what gets us from 2 to 3, and that's true because we say so. We wrote that. That makes it true. So our path to digital transformation being Amazon Good starts with the freight and in. McKinsey can come in and pitch a very different version of this and have their own way of doing it. That's fine. This is how we do it. So our unique commercial insight is that freight's the great unlock to opening up Amazon Good, and we're going to start there, and that's the most important thing to work on, and then we'll figure the rest out.
Right. Yeah, and like a good way to just think about how these offers is like, well, what does a person in bottleneck really want to hear? Oh, here's a space to do more self-discovery, right? Try for free. For those that realize that they have to act on it, but they don't know where to start, we will start it for you, right? Versus we'll trial it, pilot it. Terrible language, but if we start it for you, you're committing to the transformation and we're just starting it, right? For those that are moving from confused motivation to sense making, we're gonna do the scale bit with you, the integration and the scale. So getting it across the whole business, we're gonna help integrate it with you. It's not just, it can't be done by yourself because you've seen us start it. You now know what your business needs. You just need a helping hand as you get it all integrated. And then last but not least, it does it on its own, so push us further forward. And that's where your customers get to if they truly adopt your product. It's like, well, we're now using it at extreme lengths. Have you ever considered this? And so the last group want to hear, we now have space to push this further forward. So it does it on its own. You now have space to go even bolder. Does that make sense? And so that's a much better positioning than discovery, pain point, like allocated cost, short-term value. Whereas now we're saying, if you're here, you need this, and if you're here, you need this, and if you want this dream outcome, you need this. Very different. And so what we do then is like, well, how do we make an offer, right? And so we make an offer, really, really simple. There's an equation for it. It's not mine, but it's a brilliant one. It's by Alex Hormozi. It's dream outcome. So this is the outcome that I want. Times likelihood of it happening divided by time effort. So, to get an irresistible offer, the way we build it is we label and design services and features that either increase the value of the dream outcome or increase the likelihood that it actually happens, which are two different things, right? So the dream outcome itself, we increase its value. The likelihood that it actually happens, we increase its value. So here are the features that will actually enhance the probability of getting the goal. That's why we built it. Divided by anything we can do to lower or decrease the time of getting the dream outcome. So we do all these things to do it in less than 90 days, for example, because time delay is like, I want it now, right? Or the effort of starting. Does that make sense? So like, I need to make it effortless. So nearly all sales and marketing, training, and like offering and selling is actually only ever built up here. Things that just increase the value or the likelihood of it happening, right? But the best companies in the world and the best companies at selling and distributing actually spend all of their focus down here. So when you get a phone, right, I want an iPhone, doesn't cost me anything, right? Cool. The likelihood of me getting an iPhone is there's a Verizon down around the street. It's like, well, it's really high likelihood. Dream outcome is they've always got one in stock, right? If you're Apple. Then when I get there, it's like, I can get one in less than 30 minutes because I don't have to put any money down, right? So I've also made the purchase effortless by being able to finance it. So as you think about things that Mosaic can do, when you design an offer, it's what are the things in our unfair advantage, features or services that we can offer that enhance the value of the dream outcome. Most SaaS companies shy away from services when they do that, which is crazy. So the dream outcomes are really small. Whereas if we shoot for transformation, they have to be really big and they're not transactions. What are the features or services that increase the likelihood of that dream outcome happening? So what can we add? What are the features and services that decrease the time delay to getting it? And what are the features and services that feel like there's zero effort in changing? For effortless, think of like easy API deployment. Here it is, done. Tunnel, easy. REST APIs are all good examples of making something effortless. But you can go as bold into using a manufacturing grant to finance the purchase of a done for you. Yeah. Right? So any questions on just how this formula works?
And this is specifically to our customer, not like towards like a counterpart, like when you think about distribution to like a KPMG?
This is specific to your customer. Okay. If you ever build a joint offer though, all you've got to think about as you build a joint offer is that we're still a software company, right? So we want to have the type of software company metrics, value, margins. So if we do a really good job of our done for you and our done with you offer, the best thing we can say to KPMG is our unfair advantage is the software and all of the data we've now built. Your unfair advantage is services, brand, and equity. Why don't you just do the service features of our component? And how does that change our price? So we're actually building it so the distributor can slot in for the services of the product. Does that make sense? But they could also just take your unfair advantage and create a completely new joint offer. When you do create an offer though, it's the same framework because we want every offer to be irresistible. Now, for everyone that's been in sales or sold enterprise before, it's like, yes, they will need a business case, generally. So like they can't just buy an offer. They're not an entrepreneur. They're not going to get a gym membership. It's not a one-to-one decision. But so all you do when you run meetings is we have one meeting that's a vision meeting. Do we have the same belief? Shared belief. The second meeting that we've designed with Mosaic is we actually have a diagnostic that allows us to help a company assess what stage they're in. At the end of that stage, it's like, hey, you're here, getting to here. We have an offer for you. Here is the offer. Do you want to take it up? Yes. And it's like, well, the next stage to make sure this is right is to design a business case. But we're doing that now from firm ground on what we want to achieve and a commitment to the outcome, not how much money have you got or how do you currently spend.
Walk through that one more time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if we're so we have 3 meetings. One's a vision meeting, one's an insight meeting, one is business case, right? So generally, insight meeting, a version of if you're doing pain-based selling is a discovery. So you do a deeper demonstration, you try to find the pain point, then you align the incentive, and then the SaaS sales team will try to figure out how to build a proposal or a business case for them to buy, and then land and expand generally happens, or something strategic, right? It's like, we're just going to go big from the start, you've got to invest. It's a little bit murky, but we get there. What we do instead is that rather than run a discovery meeting, we run an insights meeting. So rather than discover what your pain point is, we're going to give you heaps of value on how to get you from confused motivation to sense-making mode without us. At the end of that meeting, we're going to say, hey, we have this 6-question survey, which the team have already built. Let's see where you are. 1, 2, 3, or 4. How we present the offer is we get to it and go, hey, you're in it looks like you're mostly 2s. You know, as you read this box of what mostly 2s, is that what it feels like? Okay. Well, we find that our successful customers trying to get to Amazon Good, where they try to go next is sense-making mode. And it looks like this. Is this what you want? Right? Is this the right dream outcome you're looking for right now if you were to do something? And they'll say, yeah. And then you'll go, hey, is this the right time? Okay. And before we go any further, does anyone else need to get these insights? Because we're consensus making business, do we need to make it? And if the answer is no, it was like, well, we have an offer to get people from confused motivation to sense-making mode. Do you want to hear it? Then we show them this offer. We have a done with you offer that does X. Yep.
So it sounds like we're almost skipping the discovery part. So is it just
Fundamentally.
like we're kind of assuming everyone has the same problem?
We're not assuming everyone has the same problem. We're assuming everyone has a stage of readiness that's ready for us to work with them to figure it out. Because the challenge that you've got is if you orientate a customer to let's discover your pain point, then you are going to find pain points. But what we actually want to do is if we commit the customer to the next stage and we price premium on the actual transformation versus the pain point, we then can build what we only need to solve the predominant pain points, but not the symptoms. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so then we get you guys and girls in, but they're already committed, they've already paid, and then we start to do that a few times and we can see what the trends are, and then we might design our solution to then always have that. So we might have more and more people just skipping ahead as we get better and better. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so like I find if you do run a sales process on pain, but then also ask them to change boldly, it's sort of contradictory. It's too much. But if we run it on let's change boldly and then let's commit, and then when we get in there, we'll solve it as we go, then we're orientating them a completely different experience. Yeah. And everyone might be wrong about it. The other problem with discovery too is it works when they know their pain point, but when they don't, it can really prolong either the deal cycle or waste a lot of time in product engineering and ops.
Have you seen cases as well where you go down that path, but then once you discover their true pain points, that different customers are quite different from one another and you almost have to customize solutions versus being able to have a common solution for everyone?
If you have enough volume, no. So, if you don't, like for example, let's say that you sell some customers this way, but then some opportunities come up that are too good to ignore, but they're sort of just money opportunities. And then all of a sudden, then your data on this is sort of skewed, right? And so if you have, say, a lot of accounts get from confused to sense making, you'll notice that they're actually just the same. Even like when we were building SaaS for defense, banking, the only time where we built custom solutions is when we actually missed which stage they were in. So we thought that they were there and it was so much money that we just said, yeah, you're there. And then we got into it and it was like, actually, you weren't ready to buy. And now we have like this personalized statement of work that none of our other customers need. And like after we built it, and this is like, worst thing you can do to an engineer is make them build something no one uses. We built it like no one's using it. And like the company that we were working with turned around and said, hey, no one uses this. Why did we build this? And we're like, oh, we built it because you asked us to. And then we went, fuck. We thought you were over here ready to reform, but you were just really motivated individuals that were really here. So although you didn't want to buy this, because this is 200,000 and this was 5 million, but like forever, we let our greed miss the signals.
Totally get how they
Yeah, like so it's so
like been there.
yeah. So that's all. And so the simple answer to your question is volume negates customization, and then making sure that the three of you in particular are actually in the delivery of the services so that we can use what you know best to not over-design our solution, which sales and marketing would love to have the tendency to do, because our job is to hear, listen, and act. And so like that's what they do. That's what they're great at. It's like we hear, we listen, we're like, yep, we're gonna act on it. And so we need the balance in the room of going, well, let's let the data build up a little bit. Like, let's see what people really need. What's the behavior? And so you just need the yin and yang to make it happen. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so my greed fucked me. I should have just said that. But, pardon my Australian. Okay. Any other questions on that? No. So what we're going to do now is, where the team are is we're crafting an offer. The offer that we're crafting at the moment is for here to here. So confused motivation to sense making. The two things that we want to get done today in the session that we have, and this is not a finished offer. If you want to just can you bring up the spreadsheet? And there's like a whole bunch of components of an offer, so I'll just quickly name them. So we have the dream outcome, the grand slam offer statement, so bringing it all together, the hook, features that increase the likelihood of success, features that lower the time to the dream outcome, items that make the dream outcome effortless, price, specific, and conditional guarantee. So we have two outcomes today. One is to make sure that if we want to get a company from confused motivation to, where am I at? Sense-making mode. We have all the features and services that we all think that we should apply to get there. And we've been missing a fair bit of the team. So it'd be good to get everyone's perspective on that. Once we get the perspective on that, we can actually price it the right way, because then we know the cost of delivering all of those services versus selling to a number. So that's called value-based pricing. So once we get that done, we can then figure out a price. What was the other thing we need help with? This isn't good enough as a grand slam offer. Add expertise, systems, data, and SOPs to empower sales and scale shipping without upending operations in 90 days. It's not catchy enough. It doesn't have the hook. It's not connected to the stage as much as it could be. So once we've done the services and we've helped Rob and the team make sure we get it all down, we're then going to put our marketing and positioning hat on again, and we're going to say, how do we make this a grand slam? So if it was memorable, it's like, okay, what did they say again? Got it. We're landed. Which is all of it. Because remember, you could say all of these things, but people are just going to sit there and go, what did they say they do? And it's going to be like, oh, we unleash and close a 7-figure distribution partner in 16 weeks. Oh, got it. Distribution partner, 16 weeks, not alone. So we've got to do that. Anything else, Rob?
No.
Do you want to walk us through just what you think would be valuable?
Yeah.
Or do you think it would be valuable just to give people the dream outcome and come up with the services?
I like that option. Yeah.
The second one?
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
So do you want to just highlight where you're at and then what the dream value is and then dream outcome is, and then we'll break into group?
For sure. I mean, I'm not even tied to the dream outcome. This was something that me, JB, and Kyle met on and put together. But obviously missing a lot of input from Ops and Eng, so we wanted to make this part of our time here. So if we go through so you wanted me to explain the dream outcome, Tom?
Well, what's your dream outcome now?
My dream outcome is to have a grand slam offer statement that we all feel speaks to the scope and the value of the dream outcome. And then I think scrolling to the, or
Do you want me to read it for you? So
yeah, please.
the current dream outcome you've got, and this is not the grand slam, but what you think customers want to go from confused to sense making is they want a rules and data-driven operating model that's reliant on systems, not staff, so fulfillment becomes predictable and sales can promise with confidence. Mm-hmm. Sell more, ship more, best-in-class fulfillment. Is that still the dream outcome?
For me, it is, and that was my best. And ChatGPT's best work.
Right. And so has everyone had a chance to read the Amazon Good guide? Right. Yeah. What we might do then is we'll just do a quick group breakout because these are two really chunky problems. And if we don't rely on the dream outcome, then we can almost impossible to do the second one. So why don't we spend 15 minutes, we'll break up into groups. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of your ideal customer. You're currently in confused motivation mode and you're trying to get to sense making. What would be the dream outcome that would be the most compelling and meaningful for you to actually change? Like what would make you act? And so you've got to keep it to the business and market transformation and behavior. Don't make it about your products or services or anything. Like, try to keep all of that at the door. You're running their business. You're that business person on the side of the customer. What would convince me to go, oh, that's compelling. We should act on that. Any questions? Get creative. You have the Amazon Good stuff where it explains the stages. But best thing to come back with is just a sentence that would describe that outcome.